Okay, so we're going to go over blood alcohol draws. The patient will be brought in by law enforcement, and they'll have this kit with them. You need to make sure that the kit is sealed and that the expiration date is in the future, not in the past. Then there is our paperwork. Patient has to be registered in our computer. They also have to have a consent signed. This would be the consent for us to draw blood. It's important to read through this if you can see that. If not, I encourage you to go get one of these forms and look at them. They are in the top drawer of the filing cabinet, right there, in the drawer that says orders, progress notes, diagnostic scheduling. There's a folder entitled blood alcohol consent, or BA consent, one of the two. So the important thing is they must sign this. There cannot be two witness signatures. The patient must sign it. The patient's name, date of birth, location in the hospital. Like if the lab is here and they do it, then it would be lab. If it's done in the hospital, it would be ER. Site cleaned with, that is very, very important. Do not leave it blank. Drawn by, specimen received by, that would be the officer. Witnessed by, that would be the officer. His badge number or her badge number. And of course, everything has dates and times. They must be filled out precisely. There is a date sample drawn, time sample drawn, which should differ from the time the patient signs it and the time you sign it, because, well, that's kind of logical. So once that is signed, then we go to the box. With the patient or prisoner and the officer watching, you cut the seal open. At this point, no one should be leaving the area. You, the officer, and the person need to stay within sight of the box until it's handed back over to the officer. So you cut that open. Now, you get these pieces of paper. We'll go over them later. This blue one is an instructions sheet. These two, it's a pink one and a green one, the officer will fill out. So he's going to be over there filling out papers. Then there's going to be a little box inside the box. It's going to be a plastic bag with an absorbent pad in the bottom. There's going to be labels. You do not want this box to be thrown away because you're going to be needing it again. So just put it to the side. Then you open your kit up. It comes with a straight stick lab draw needle. If you want to, you can use a butterfly from our supply. You will also need a tourniquet because there is no tourniquet in this kit. You'll also need a Band-Aid or 2x2 and tape. Then put together your lab draw device. Well, you obviously know that that's not good, so we'll just pretend. Okay, so we will pretend that that's still on there. Now, and don't worry about recapping the needle. We won't do that in real life. Right here is your tubes. They have powder in them. You need to make sure that that's fully mixed when you get the blood in there. So it comes with 2 betadine swabs or pads. This is what you use to clean the patient up. Do not use anything else. It is extremely important that you do not use alcohol wipes. You must use the betadine that comes in the kit unless they're allergic to betadine, and then you can clean it up with soap and water, or I'd have to look up whether or not you can use Hibiclens or type of a cleansing agent. So there's that. So you get your site, put your tourniquet on, clean it off, stick the vein, put those in there like so, fill them up. Then when that one's full, you mix like that slowly. You don't want to shake it, just mix it. And then same thing with this one, fill it up and inverts gently until it's mixed. That is a question, along with what did you use to clean it with, that attorneys like to ask in the event that this case goes to court. Now, here is the labels that go on your tubes. So we're going to put on here that our subject's name is John Doe. And this is John Doe. Now, John Doe would put his initials here, so he would sign it as J.D. and J.D. Then the officer signs it. And let's see, we'll use the actual officer that gave me this. So it's going to be Brad Abbey. So B.A. and he initials it. The date it was taken, so we're going to be 7/29/21. Time taken, this has got to actually sync up, so make sure that all the time that it was actually drawn is consistent on all forms. And then you're going to sign here. Date taken 29/21. Time taken 01/06, and everything signed up. So that is what it should look like fully filled out. Everybody needs to be present again and watching. So you would take off one of these, and we're going to put these on here so that we can actually see how they go. So put them on that way. It's good practice to put them so you can see the blood through there, but I don't know that it's necessary. Now, some kits have a evidence tape that goes over the top here. This Minnesota does not. And that's okay. And again, there we go. Now, put those back in this little box that it came in. Make sure that that's securely in there. Then we're going to seal this evidence tape. Here's the evidence tape. My initials are here because I'm the one sealing the box. And it says, evidence, warning, please seal, do not remove. So, that would be here, because you want to have that sealed so that if somebody tries to open it, it'll be evident. Then, after you get that done, you're going to put it in this bag right here with the absorbent pad in the bottom. Seal it up. There you go. Then we're going to put our box back in this box. And we're going to let some air out, I think. Now, it is important that if you make a mistake, you do not open up or go back in the box. You'll have to get a new kit and do it from scratch, because the numbers, the tubes are labeled and numbered, and that number is on the paperwork and on the box. So once you get that done, close up the box. And again, you and the officer are doing this together. The patient is supposed to be watching you, but sometimes they don't. Just make sure that you give them all the opportunity and some reminders if they seem to be going off to sleep. Because that'll be another question for an attorney to ask you, is why their client was not able to watch and witness their box being sealed. Here, date sealed, so it's going to be again 7/29/21, sealed by, and they want your signature on that line instead of just a initial. Then, now, here we go. And then this is actual evidence tape, so that, and tamper-proof tape. So be careful with this, because once you get it halfway on, if you try to move it, you'll rip it, and then the whole thing is void. So that is what you do, and then you hand it back to the officer at that point. Over here, now we're going to look at this paperwork. The officer will have filled this out for you, and this you can see I'd already signed my name. This is the medical personnel certificate. This the police keep. We would put the time that we drew the blood and the date. We would, you sign your name here and put what your qualifications are. These are what Minnesota allows to draw blood. Then the police officer signs here and fills all that out, because that's for them. This little pink thing is what actually, well, actually I made a mistake and I do apologize. This right here gets put in the box before that seal goes on there. We can't redo it because this is the only one I got. But when he fills that out all the way, and the last thing we do before you close that box up is put that in there. Now, you've got the subject's condition, which is hopefully alive. He does all that. You don't need to worry about any of that. And this is what they want BCA to do with this blood. So once that's all done, then you let the prisoner go off with the officer, and that should be everything that you need to do. And that's pretty much the sum of it. Thank you.